this is David Abbott in the Physics Department at Buffalo State College, here with some friends from the BPO.
I'm Anna Mattix. I play the oboe, and I have been playing oboe since I was 10.
I'm Amy Glidden. I play the violin. I've been playing the violin since I was 3 and a half, and I've been in the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra for 10 years.
You probably notice as you listen to the orchestra that each instrument in the orchestra has its own special character. The violin sounds very different than an oboe, or a trumpet, or a cello, or a bassoon. Why is that? How do they sound different? And why do they sound different? And how is our brain able to tell them apart? What we're going to do is we're going to look at the same note played on 3 different instruments. Here I have the chime from previous videos. This is, the note is A440. This is what the orchestra tunes to.
This is what the note sounds like on the oboe.
And here's the violin.
So you can hear how those notes have very different character. They're exactly the same notes, but if you close your eyes, you can certainly tell them apart. How is it that our brain's able to tell the difference? So what we're looking at are graphs of the chime sound and the oboe sound and the violin sound. You know from video 1 what the chime looks like. It's pretty simple, repeating, wavy look on the time plot, that is the upper of the 2 graphs. And on the bottom of the bottom graph, the FFT plot, the frequency plot, it's a single spike. Anna, what do you notice about the oboe graph? How is that different? How is it similar?
Well, it has a lot more spikes on both graphs than the chime does. It doesn't have as even a pattern, although you can tell I'm playing the same note because the peaks of the graph, I guess, are all at the same place. But what I really notice is on the bottom graph, you can absolutely tell that even though I'm playing an A, there are lots of other sounds that my instrument makes to make that A sound very characteristically oboe.
This is Amy Glidden, and the violin is represented by, I believe, the green line, and the oboe is represented by the blue line. If you look at the top chart and you see that simple little red wave, and you see the complexity of both the blue and the green, it makes me realize why people think of both the oboe and the violin as a more complex and expressive sound than just the hitting of a chime. And the other thing I noticed, looking at the bottom graph, you notice that the blue has a lot of higher peaks there, and that, I believe that is what represents loudness. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, the height on that bottom graph, on the FFT graph, shows you how loud that particular sound is. So the blue one has multiple tall peaks. That tells me that there are multiple notes that the oboe makes that are really, really loud.
And what's interesting about that to me is that as you look at the orchestra, there are, I think, upwards of 30 violins and 3 oboes. And it's interesting for me to think about how the oboe can project with only 3 and perhaps balance an entire string section. I don't like to think that the violins are wimpy, but the oboe clearly has some superior projecting powers.